Here we are with special guest David Yomtobian, the great Persian minds behind chess lessons in CVG. I'll let him get carried away. He doesn't like long intros.
Yes, I'm gonna show you CVG. This one's for Prospero Lugo. He played Tony, he played me some games, and I'm just gonna show you how he could use CVG to improve. So first I'm gonna show you his games versus Tony, so that's Nars. Then I'm gonna show you some of his games versus me, that's Fishbroth. So against Tony, he had, let's see, out of their 6 games, he had 5 chances to easily win. So let's see those 5 chances. So he had this position in his game versus Tony. If you go to extracted game, you'll see right away what game it was from, the date, and the full game. All these cool tools here are meant to help you become a better chess player. And we see here that he played game move d4, and that cost him about 8 pawns. So he went from an eval of being up 4 pawns to down 4 pawns. And he only spent about 22 seconds on this move, which could be why he made that mistake. Actually, this feature with how long each person spent on each move uh, was based on a suggestion from Grandmaster Max DeLugi. So thank you, Max, for that feedback. We did integrate your feedback into the site. So let's go take a look. So you could hit AI fight here, and you'll see that Prospero had a very simple win here by just doubling his rooks. And one question I might want to ask right away is, well, why did he grab this pawn? Why was that necessary? I'm guessing it's because there was a checkmate threat. So if you go here, yeah, I'm not sure why the engine took here. Let's see. Oh, okay, I see. I see. It's saying, well, takes here. It's almost the same eval. I just don't understand why he's giving up that pawn. Let's say he makes a silly move like that.
Oh, well, okay,
So
D4 is
the threat is d4. Okay.
the point of the rook move over is that the other way he traded rooks, whereas if he defends his own rook, I can't do anything.
And why is d4 so good? That's the
Because
question.
it wins the rook due to support.
Okay, so it's a little fork trick there. So why can't he just run away? So let's say he just wants to like run away. So what happens then?
I guess D4 is still.
D4 is still okay. So these two pawns here are
D4,
really amazing.
Yeah, and the knight is hit, so you like concretely you lose.
Got it. So I guess he was like very worried about these two pawns and played this to try to trade.
Prospero is black, so he's happy about those pawns. He just like had low time, and he didn't see that if he brought the rook to f7, he would keep the threat of the pawn push while like.
Okay, objectively, Prospero, you were winning. You were up 3 pawns versus Tony. Let's see the next chance you had to win. So just to explain some of these buttons, so when you play a lot of chess, if someone gives you an easy chance to beat them, that'll get grouped in there. If someone gives you anywhere from like +4 pawns to 7, it'll go into medium. Hard is like you're up about a minor piece, and GM mode is you're up about anywhere between half a pawn to 2.5 pawns. So we'll look, the better players you play, the less levels they're going to give you. So let's see. So this is the second position where Prospero was crushing Tony. And he was up almost 4.5 pawns here. And he played this mistaken move, bishop d2. Let's see how long he spent on this move. Only 7 seconds. Maybe he wants to spend longer on this move. Yeah, bishop d2 just gives up a free piece. So one of the cool things you could do with this software is try to beat the engine on either level 14, 16, 18, or 20, or just hit this sparring mode and go do it directly in Lichess on Stockfish level 8, and practice, basically winning the positions where you were already won but then made a mistake. One of the benefits of hitting sparring mode versus doing it right here in this platform is that sparring mode is recursive. So once you go to sparring mode and play more, you'll be able to auto-generate more new levels based on your sparring mode. So a move that comes to mind here for me, like just my worst piece is my bishop. It's being blocked by all my own pieces. And I don't see any immediate threats for white. So what I would do is probably like just play bishop here, which didn't turn out to be the best move. And then basically bring my bishop over. And now it says like, okay, I'm still +2, but I was much better. So let's see what the engine does. The engine didn't love my move too much. Let's see. Oh wow. Okay. That is a very nice tactic. So Prospero, you missed a very nice tactic here, which is instead of giving up your bishop for free, you just grab this pawn for free. And if knight takes, you pin it, and you win it. Okay, so you know that for next time. I'm guessing the rook can come over to the other side and start grabbing pieces. Wow, very, very tactical game. Yeah, I would just like grab this piece right here and give a little check over here. And okay, this position is quite difficult, but you're still up 2 pawns, and if you play enough, you could see what to do. And Tony doesn't like this feature, but I love this feature. So what multi-game analysis does is it builds you a little matrix, and what this little matrix has opened up in this new tab here is I'll do one because he said it gives him a headache when I do more than one at a time. But let's say I did like 3 because I can handle even 9. So what it does is it shows you every position where you made a mistake, and then it has an engine versus engine match from the point of your mistake. So this was the first point of your mistake where you pushed. So instead you double the rooks and take there. This was the second point of mistakes, and it's based on the current filter. So this one, knight takes, wins a free pawn instead of the bishop here, and then you pin the knight. And this was the third point of a mistake based on the current filter. Let's see. Okay, so rook comes down here. I think you took over here, and then bishop comes over here, and then you have the open file. So and you could always well if you're the type that can focus on all at once, just hit 1, and then go 1 at a time. I don't have a problem. I could even do 9 at a time. I just focus on 1 at a time, and then I'm fine. So
so it gives all the variations from your first mistake, like different ways the game could unfold from there.
Yeah, basically. Well, you're talking about a repertoire button. This is a matrix button. So whatever filter you have on right now, it'll show you an engine versus engine man from that engine versus engine match from that filter. So this is only 5. If I remove the filter of hard and have all 20 to 29, right? And I hit multi-game analysis, it's going to show you a stockfish versus Komodo, or a stockfish 11 versus stockfish 11 match from every point of your mistakes. And if you can't focus on too many things at once, it distracts you. You could do 1 at a time. The point being that this is already generated, and you don't have to hit AI fight. It's already done in the background in the database, and it's much faster. And you could just you're tired, it's the end of the day, you want to quickly go see all your mistakes, you just come and click this. Or let's say you said, okay, well I want to see all my opening mistakes that I made versus David, or my middle game mistakes versus David, where I lost at least 2 pawns, and you have only 1 of those because you play very well against me. But let's say you said at least 1 pawn, right? So there's 8 middle game mistakes versus Fishball where you lost at least 1 pawn. So now you just come hit multi-game analysis, opens it in a new tab, and let's say you want to see 2 at a time, and boom, you have all your games versus me, Fishball.
But they're all going at once. You can't watch them all at once, right?
Well, you do 1 at a time. I mean, I can focus on 1 at a time,
Right. But the other one's already going in the background, so you'll miss it.
Oh, but that's fine. You'll look over next to it. It's on auto loop. I don't know if I explained to you it's on auto loop. Auto loop means it goes around and around and around. So right when it finishes, it starts again.
Right.
So the second it ends, it starts again from the beginning. So you can just stare at it all day if you want.
Why does it use less space? Why is it quicker to run?
So when you run this, it's actually running Stockfish in the background.
Right.
This is not running Stockfish in the background, the multi-game analysis. It already ran Stockfish at the moment where it was extracting your levels and saved the results to the database.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's much faster. Let's go take a look at some of the newer features now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to your games versus Nars, and I'm only going to look at your endgame mistakes, because I know already that you're usually winning in most endgames, and then you start panicking. So there's 7 positions where, let's look at the GM mode ones first. GM mode none, hard. Okay, you had a chance to win here. This one we saw. So most of these endgame mistakes you made, it looks like they were from even positions. But let's look at some. So here you had a chance to draw. It's even. and instead you played queen f4. And queen f4, actually, I like this move. It looks very natural. Why does it lose 2 pawns? That's beyond strange to me. So let's see why. Queen f4. Let's see what the computer responds. Okay. Why can't I just snap this up? And then why is this losing? Oh, I see. So now you're forced into passivity because there's a back rank checkmate threat, and you have to go back, and then he's just going to control the whole game. So how do you hold here? What's a better alternative? Maybe don't trade queens. Maybe queen f4 invites you to trade queens. So if I hit AI fight here, so queen takes, keep the queens on the board, don't trade queens, and yeah, now you have time maybe to get out of that back rank checkmate threat. So yeah, so that's a good learning point right there. Keep queens on the board when you have a back rank weak king over here, because this king's a little bit better than yours. And if you hit Lichess here, okay, hit Lichess, you could see it probably doesn't like queen f4, see? So white went from being basically up nothing, like about a pawn, maybe a pawn, still drawish, to being up 4 pawns. So the computer is doing a good job. It's doing its work. Let me resize this a little bit. There we go. Alright, so let's look at some more. Let's turn off endgames and let's see all the big blunders where you lost at least 2 pawns or more. So that was the first one. There's 4 more. Okay, this is a good one. So you're about even here, and you played e4. And e4 cost you the game basically, and you spent 7 seconds on this move. So you went from being -1, which is not the biggest
Here,
deal.
scroll down so they can see the bottom too.
Oh yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, you went e4 here. So why is e4 so bad? Takes.
So the D pawn was pinned.
What if you take here?
Yeah,
okay, you just lose a pawn. Okay. And what is a better alternative? If you go to AI fight, we'll see.
Oh,
so let's do that one more time because I didn't realize that making the screen bigger, they won't be able to see. So here's 100%. Try again. AI fight. So better move is to protect the pin piece. Maybe move the king out of the way at some point. I see why there's a lot of pressure. So I'm gonna go and hit openings and see where in the opening Prospero could have done better versus Tony. So there's 6 positions in the opening where he could have done better. So in this position he played knight b1, and that cost him 2 pawns from an opening position, and he spent 38 seconds on this move. So maybe you want to pay attention here, and this is a great point of approval. So AI fight, and it's better to actually take that pawn, and I think you just want a free pawn over there. So more active, less afraid. Next one, here's another example. Well, this one, maybe we'll skip it. You only spent 1 second here, but you only lost half a pawn there, which is, it's arbitrary. It's hard to say whether that's really a mistake or not, only half a pawn. So same thing over here. I argued that e4 would have been better because it doesn't give up the center, but once again, if you're losing less than a pawn, it's a matter of opinion.
Well, yeah, also e4 you'd have to know the Sicilian, so if you might...
So you played your openings well. This is the only one where I'd say it's clearly a mistake going back because it loses 2 whole entire pawns. And now let's go...
Positionally 2 pawns.
Yeah.
Like physically 2 pawns.
Right, exactly. It doesn't actually lose 2 pawns, but the valuation loses 2 pawns. Yeah, good. And then, so this would have been a better move, more active. And now let's see the middle game. So he plays his openings very well, Prospero. So the middle game is where he's really struggling. 12 mistakes. Let's see. Out of those 12, 4 of them lost at least a pawn, and 2 of them lost at least 2 pawns. And a lot of them are just like slight inaccuracies, but let's look at some of them. Okay, queen c2 you covered in your last video. It's bad because the knight attacks, and then once you have to move away from the knight, you're either getting forked or you're hanging over here. So this is bad. This is a very deadly knight. Let's say I take it. Yeah, then I get forked here. Let's say I move over to this side. Okay, yeah, it's just like losing. So better would have been what over here? Better would have been probably just to take. Wow,
Oh yeah, yeah. This gets tactical.
very
It's weird. It didn't
tactical,
play
very
that line
complex.
before.
Let's try it
But
on a little bit of a higher engine, like 16. Yeah, I fight. It's just a little bit slower if you
I
ramp up
think
the engine.
last time the Sockers played Bishop A5.
Yeah, it's a
Which is kinda,
stronger move.
which is kind of crazy.
Trying to deflect the queen.
Yeah, yeah. That in that way you get
So
rid of
this is one of those like positions you really should analyze with CVG. I would go to Lee Chess and analyze it over there. I would also spar with an engine multiple times until you have a good comfortable feel from both sides. Let's see some more. So this is a continuation of the other game where you went from knight down here. It looks like Tony gave up his advantage of +3 and went back to even. So I'll just skip this one. You played c3, which is a decent move. This one, you lost 2 pawns, e4, we covered this. Okay, 5 pawn loss over here. Oh, this one we covered also, bishop d2. And I'm looking for the ones that are at least 2. Well, let's see this one also. This one's interesting. It says you played bishop e7, and you were winning here. You're up 3 pawns already. And okay, bishop e7 could be set to be a little bit passive. Let's see what the engine would find here. Bishop d1, wow.
That's so weird that such a slight thing would be. Oh, I guess.
Okay, I guess bishop d7 doesn't give you the opportunity to go and like pin them, but here you have the opportunity to go and pin them. So let's see it one more time. So d1 instead of e7, and you're not winning by any means, but you're up 3 pawns. So like if you with correct play, you could win.
Well, I don't think you'd say not winning by any means. I mean, he is winning. Like,
well, not yet, but yeah, you definitely have the opportunity with correct play to win.
Yeah, the long term is winning.
Yeah. Well, you're actually crushing Tony. If you think about middle game like this, and you're up 2.5 pawns, and you spent 4 seconds on that move. So this is blitz. You can't be expected to find deep moves like this. But in the future, just know here, it doesn't really give your bishop much hope because this is taken, this is taken, this is taken, this is taken, this is taken. It's kind of like a bad bishop now. But here, it has some future over here, pinning the pawn.
Yeah, and it blocks communication between the king and the rook, so in a lot of positions you would automatically rule it out. But
oh,
now
interesting.
When it's a close position,
interesting.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay, one more position. So bishop e7 was played here, costing you 2 pawns. So you're up 3 pawns in this position. And let's go actually see this game. So let's see this game.
Oh, flip the board so it's from Prospero's perspective.
Oh, good idea.
Press F, just the letter F.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's good job, Lee Chess. So we have a French over here.
Oh yeah, Prospero played this really well. Like I don't know the French advance very well. I was just kind of screwing around.
So far, so good. I know he studied this line. He plays this against me a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Black already has like a nice advantage.
Okay, and now knight g5, very bad move. Moving the same piece twice in the opening doesn't really have a threat, and queens are off the board. So how are you checkmating your opponent?
I don't know. I just wanted to play f4, or yeah, I think I wanted to play f4, but it didn't turn out very well. I guess.
So okay. Yeah, so Prospero was better the entire game here. And then I guess he just gave you his bishop on d2, but he's even +5 here. Oh yeah, so this is the position that the engine that CVG picked up, this bishop e2 move. So this is where we are in CVG now. And it's saying you're +4. Why are you going here to be only +2? And let's see what CVG recommends in the engine versus engine. Take the pawn. Wow. Very tactical, very sharp. Open everything up.
But obviously, it's pretty bad if White has to give up a piece.
Yeah.
But you should definitely look. I would analyze on the Lee Chess.
Yeah, and you know, if this is going really fast, what you do is you let it run. And then at the end of letting it run, we have this nifty little tool here called copy PGN. And now when you copy the PGN at any point, you can go to tools, import game. And you could just see, paste it, and you could just see the engine versus engine match that just happened from the position where you made a mistake. Oh, that F button is so helpful. And you could slowly analyze it.
Yeah,
and if you want, you
can put it into a study for future reference. Yeah, it's amazing that the CVG can generate all this material for
So
you.
our software is built on top of Lichess because they have a great API, great team, and we really appreciate everything they're doing. So also any of the levels you want to share with like a friend or something, we're adding tools for that. But in the meantime, let's say you see this and you're like, okay, very interesting. I played Rook D2. Rook D2 is like probably not as good because you should probably be on the 7th rank. I lost a whole pawn. You want to just copy that fen. Boom, just hit copy, you copy that fen. Now you could take that into any other program or send the fen to someone. Fen stands for something Edward notation, which basically means this position on the board. I have a video on it in YouTube if you want to watch it. It got over 2,000 views. Next. Okay, so that's all for that. And then endgame. This we also reviewed. So that summarizes almost all of Prospero's mistakes versus you. Um, yeah, if you want to see your mistakes versus me, Prospero, I know we played a lot more games. You have, let's see, let's turn off endgame. You have 40 mistakes versus me as well. If you want, you can go through them and you could filter it, use the filters. And yeah, I think CVG could help anyone. If anyone wants to use CVG, we're doing onboarding right now. It's got over 20 daily users so far. And it'll go through your last 100 or 1,000 games you played on Lichess and create a portal for you to be able to improve your games in the future. Just contact Nars on his channel, or another way you can sign up is just go to
Did you just let it?
chesslessons.com. I'm just going to sign out of his account because he's logged in. And hit the register button, and make sure when you hit the register button to put in your Lichess username where you've played. And then this is free. This is all free. Once you log in, you'll be able to watch hundreds of hours of Grandmaster videos for free from some of the top GMs in the whole entire world. And then once you're signed up and you have your Lichess username over there, just send us a message and we will get you onboarded into CVG so you could start analyzing all your mistakes and improve for the future. I think that's it for now. If you have any questions, let me know. I really do love this feature, even though it bothers my friend that they're all moving at once. Because sometimes at the end of the day, I just don't want to spar with an engine. I don't want to analyze. I just want to watch engines playing each other from the exact points where I made mistakes. And I usually do this for the end games, which is helpful. All right, till next time.